My name is Katahj Copley. I am from Carrollton, Georgia, and I am a composer. A big theme in my music is the individual or the soul to the earth or to the world. And one of those big things about that is the idea of depression, anxiety, and just mental health. It's one of those concepts that's not really talked about in my area of music, like the band world. Like pieces like that aren't like that well known. And I want to create stories about myself and hope in hopes that somebody can be like, hey, that happened to me, or hey, that sounds like something that I can like relate to. Because for a long time there was no stories that I could relate to. And I was like, well, if I have these powers or if I have these tools, might as well tell my story.
My name is Sebastian Boniuto. I'm the director of bands at Boston College, and I conduct the University Wind Ensemble. I'm the head of the department. I also direct the jazz ensemble. A few years ago, we decided with the membership that we were going to pursue a repertoire strategy whereby we would search out, research, and discover composers that had been underserved, under-recognized by the community of wind ensemble conductors. On that path, we decided, well, we should do women composers. We should feature and celebrate women composers, Black and African American composers, Asian composers, and other people of color, so that we could celebrate and display their work. The events, the most unfortunate events of the summer, refocused our attention, and we thought that it was most important that we pursue Black and African American composers at this time. And so the students and I did a lot of research. There were a lot of suggestions from the members on what pieces to actually include in our repertoire. And because of the pandemic, we had to narrow it down. You know, we don't have the capacity really in this environment to be able to learn, rehearse, and perform, a full-length concert. And so in doing research on Katahj, we discovered that he had quite a catalog of music, compositions, including some chamber music pieces that were just really compelling and attractive and beautiful, exciting. And of course, Haywire was all of that, beautiful, exciting. And in doing research, we discovered that Katahj is 24 years old. And oh my gosh, how does a young man produce such a catalog of gorgeous, beautiful music at such a young age? And we contacted him and wanted to know if he would engage with us in a project to feature his music. And graciously, of course, he agreed, and we've developed a relationship with him that's really very gratifying. And
So in high school, it was rough for me. Um, my family had to continue moving a lot my freshman year. It was hard to find a home, in a sense, and I kind of kept that private with people at school, simply because it wasn't their business to know, and I thought it was just gonna be okay. We'll find where we need to stay. So we'd stay at a house, then move into a motel for a couple of weeks, and stay in another house and just keep going from there. Eventually, it kind of became permanent where I'd stay in motels and basically was essentially homeless. Not without like an actual home to stay in. And I would live that life outside of school. And my mother wouldn't necessarily tell me the situations that we were in. In my mindset, I thought, oh, we're going to get out of this motel. But no, we were legit homeless. And she got into a bad state of depression. And I felt like it was my fault because she would always cry around me. And it wasn't my fault. It was just because I'm her son, and she didn't want me to see this situation like this. It took me a long time to realize that's what was happening. But I fell into a place of where do I actually belong? Because if my family is upset when I'm around, and if my friends don't necessarily support what I do or just make fun of me, where do I go? And so I ended up very depressed. To the point where that summer I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel. I basically didn't care who I was, what would have happened to me, how that would affect my whole family and the people that I love. So that summer was very very dark.
I'm always able to find myself in almost every piece of music that I play in some way or another. And in these pieces, particularly the first movement, really speaks to me because it starts off with that lone solo kind of voice in the beginning. And then as it gains kind of a little bit more stability, I guess, it's kind of searching. And I really, really relate to that as I kind of figure out a little bit more about who I am. And that process is always ongoing. Sometimes I feel like other people might know me better than I know myself, and then other times it feels like none of us really know, at least who I am.
Glass is a 2-movement flute quartet, and the idea behind it is identity and finding who you are. The first movement is titled Shards, and it is a musical story or musical painting of someone who's trying to find themselves, who's lost themselves, and is just trying to figure out what's next in life. And then the second movement is the person has finally found their identity and they can move on and be better and grow from that. Whenever I listen to music, and I guess kind of get a little bit connected towards it, colors tend to wrap around my eyes and basically take over my visual during the performance. It's like a small, I want to say like aurora borealis, like those lights just flickering back and forth, like around the rims of my eyes or the rims of my vision. And different songs, different pieces have different colors, and it's been a weird journey trying to figure out what each color means. But for example, Carmina Burana is like mainly black, so it's like black waves around my eyes. Trying to think of another one. Holst Jupiter, it's gold and crimson. It's something of jolly. But with Haywire, working with those colors, it was orange, red, just heated colors. And that basically guided me into what themes I wanted to add into Haywire. Just these colors of passion and overall anger is what guided in the making of Haywire.
I definitely don't see colors. I wish I did. That'd be so cool. But I think I relate music to more of a mood and a feeling, and I think I can associate those feelings and those moods with colors. And certain colors evoke certain feelings in emotion. So I feel like the most tangible example is probably the color red, where you think anger, but anger can also be passionate, so red can be passionate. And like any one color or any one sound isn't just one other emotion or one other feeling. It's all kind of multifaceted and very complex.
It's very easy for me when I play, especially certain pieces. I tend to associate those pieces with a place, right? And those places kind of have a color palette. And so the colors that the music takes on, though I can't see color, the piece kind of takes on the colors of those surroundings.
Music and colors have like similar aspects where like some colors flow really well together, and you know it makes you really feel something. You see a piece of art and the colors just flow, and you're like, wow, that really, I don't know, brings up a memory or something. It's the same with music, where like the notes just really flow together and they can bring up a memory, make you happy, make you sad. They can both really elicit emotions in that way.
So the idea behind the astral plane is a place where the soul can connect with other souls, and to be in a sense of connection. Whether that's through something that you're passionate about or is something that speaks to you. It is, for me, a zone that is where you're at your most creative or your most imaginative, and you're filled with so much creative energy. That's, for me, my astral plane.
These cell phone videos first sparked the global outrage.
Mama! Get up, we're getting the car right.
But now, for the first time, authorities have unsealed key police body camera videos of George Floyd's death, allowing the public to view the footage in person, though not releasing them for broadcast.
These body camera videos were the most extensive view of the interactions between George Floyd and those police officers. You see George Floyd almost startled. You see his facial expression, and you hear how apologetic he is about the entire situation and how fearful he is about what is about to transpire.
The body cameras from rookie officers Thomas Lane and Alex King show them responding to a call about someone allegedly passing a fake $20 bill at a Minneapolis convenience store in May. When the officers arrive, they're directed to Floyd in his car. As Lane approaches, he tells Floyd to show his hands, then draws his gun. Then, as officers struggle to get him into a squad car, Floyd says he's claustrophobic. Once he's restrained, Floyd tells officers he can't breathe, adding, "You're going to kill me." Former officer Derek Chauvin, who pressed his knee on Floyd's neck, says, "Then stop talking. Takes a heck of a lot of oxygen to talk."
My reaction was, at first, if I was numb to it. And then I started thinking about, like, each time this has popped up in the news with someone else, like, it just, finally, I exploded. And I needed to use the voice that I was given. For a long time, I felt like I wasn't able to speak about this. Because I'm like, oh, you're too young, or you don't really know the situation. And finally, I was like, well, allow me to step into this conversation and make a change, because you can do so much. There's only so much that someone can handle before finally it just breaks them down. And that's what happened with me. I handled as much as I could, holding my breath, biting my tongue, and just finally I needed to explode.
There were some racist incidents that happened in January on campus, and the administration, it took them a month to even acknowledge that. And as soon as it happened, students were outraged, faculty's outraged, and administration just really pushed it off.
And they say, oh, it's not easy to go about addressing this situation. Well, it's not easy to be a student on campus and watch your peers go about their day feeling uncomfortable.
I just feel like a lot of people here just don't take things seriously. So, like, even if the school were to, like, make a great, like, campaign or, like, program to do something, if the people aren't willing and aren't open to doing it, then there's, like, no point in doing it at all.
I hope that there's kind of more just, like, engagement in uncomfortable dialogue. I think that, like, especially with BC being, like, a primarily white institution, it could be really easy for, like, white students to just completely, like, either like ignore things or avoid engaging in conversations about race.
Boston College is very much an environment, a school made for, the straight white cisgender man. And it feels like a lot of opportunities are built around people like that, and that the school has a huge problem with how students of color are treated on campus, with how LGBTQ people are treated on campus.
I really hope people see things like the diversity EDU programming that we have to do at the start of our freshman year as not the end of the journey, but the start of the real internal gritty work that we need to do in order to improve our campus.
The idea of reaching for something that was that seemed impossible, kind of like a skyline, but being able to make it. And I thought about the different skylines and different ideas of skyscrapers, and then finally I thought about my past and like the motels and their skylines. Like, I went above that. I should not be here, and yet I'm going higher and higher with each step. I see it as a way of looking at your growth and seeing how far you've come and how far you're willing to go next. And that's the main reason why I wrote Skyline. If you understand how others feel, if you understand the pain that one person has gone through and how hard it is to get back out of those situations, to get back out of the dark sides, if you can understand that life is an everyday struggle, whether it's a huge struggle or a small struggle, to understand that other people have hard times to celebrate the different cultures, to celebrate, to understand and welcome. I think those are the two things that will preserve us. Because if we don't understand, if we don't welcome different people, then we perish.